Welcome to the Hollywood Raw podcast. I'm Dax Holt. Over there is Adam Glyn. Today is our Raw Rundown. It's the end of the week. Let's cap it off with going over the biggest stories in Hollywood, everything that is going on, get you caught up to head into the weekend. Adam Glyn, how are you, my friend?
I am good. Shout out to our private Facebook group, Off the Record. And I say, and this is why, Dax. I started watching this show called Landman with Billy Bob Thornton. And I watched like 45 minutes of the first episode. I didn't know if I was going to like it or if I wasn't, but everyone in the group said, hey, stick with it. And now I'm like really enjoying the show. It's gotten a little kind of weird at parts, but like, because it's a funny show. By the end of the day, I stuck with it, and I look forward to watching the show every night. Billy Bob Thornton is such a good actor. Like he's a very specific role, but he plays the role very well. And he's just funny. His twang is just funny. Funny guy. He's a comedic actor. But I because of our private Facebook group, Off the Record, I stuck with the show, and I'm very happy about that. Is there anything you're watching on TV right now, Dex?
So we just finished up. What is it? It's on Apple. The one with Harrison Ford.
Yeah. You're talking about the pre. You're thinking about the pre. You're thinking about the Western show.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about the one where he's a psychologist.
Oh, you're thinking with the Jason Segel.
Yeah. What the hell's the name of the show? And you know what? I honestly, every single time, I can never remember the name of the goddamn show.
Yeah, no, I watched 2 episodes. Here's the thing: is I watched 2 episodes of that show, and it was a good show. It's but it wasn't the shows I feel like I need to keep watching. If that sounds right, but the show's called Shrinking, Dex.
Shrinking. My God, I could not remember the name of it. I always want to say Psych because that was obviously the show that was on TV for a long time. Shrinking. It is such a good show. Adam, you gave up too soon. It is really good. The character development is amazing. They tap into mental health a lot, but it sucked us in. Season 2 was awesome. We just finished that, and then we picked up Silo again. So now we're doing Silo.
I could not get into Silo. I'm going to be honest with you. I
love it. I don't know. It's fun.
I'm not a sci-fi guy. I try, like it. They just. I haven't. Did you like Dune? Did you watch it by any chance?
I watched Dune. I thought it was good.
I couldn't get into it, and I wanted to like it. And I couldn't get into it. The most sci-fi I could get into, and it's not even a sci-fi movie, it's like a Lord of the Rings type thing. And that's as far as I could go. Too much sci-fi is just, I don't understand the genre, to be honest with you.
I don't feel like I'm a huge sci-fi person, but then when I start recommending shows and stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, Silo. Okay, that's kind of sci-fi. And then I do Outlander. Okay, well, that's kind of sci-fi. So I don't feel like I am, but then the shows that I recommend are normally some kind of weird sci-fi shit. All right, let's be real. Celebrities might live these glamorous lives, but behind the scenes, they've got some serious stuff to deal with, especially when it comes to keeping their private lives, private.
Yeah, and it's not just them. Just think about it. Google yourself, and bam, your address, your phone number, maybe even your family's information just is out there for anyone else to see. It's creepy.
Totally. And that's where our sponsor, Aura, comes in. Aura is like having a personal security team for your identity. It's exactly what celebs should have. And hey, now the rest of us can too. They'll help remove your personal info from those sketchy data booker websites, the ones that sell your info to scammers or who knows.
And Aura doesn't just stop there. They've got identity theft protection that keeps tabs on billions of data, like the dark web. So it lets you know if something's wrong. Imagine someone's trying to open your credit card using your name. Aura's got your back.
Plus, they've got this like killer VPN and safe browsing and a password manager, so you're not reusing that typical passwords 123 on every website. You've got all of this in one app and a way better deal than hiring a private investigator like some celebs may have to do.
So here's the deal. You can try Aura for free for 14 days. Just go to aura.com/Hollywood Raw. That's aura.com/Hollywood Raw. In 2 weeks, Aura can show you if your personal info is exposed. Trust us, it's worth it.
Yeah, stop leaving yourself vulnerable. Go to aura.com/Hollywood Raw. Start protecting yourself like an A-lister. And just a big thanks to Aura for sponsoring today's episode and helping us all stay a little safer out there.
Today is our Raw Rundown episode where we give you the top 10 stories of the week. How do we pick you the top 10 stories? It goes by Google search, it goes by data, and lastly, it goes by our personal opinion. But ultimately, it comes down to the data, what people are clicking on. And Dax and I always said, this is what the major news outlets do. They see what people are clicking on, and they start to go after those stories more and more because they see that people are curious about those stories. But we cover entertainment news. It was sort of like a slow news week this week because of everything went up with Trump becoming president and Biden leaving office. There was a lot of energy and a lot of news desks working on that, obviously, because it is a big news story. We're not covering any of that in our top 10 stories of the week just because we cover the good news, which is entertainment news, which is high school. That's why we love this. It's high school. This is all high school drama. We live for it. We love it. Yeah. We look forward to high school reunions because we want to see.
We didn't say it was the important news. We said it was the fun news.
Yeah. But before we get to that, Dax is so kind to me that he likes to read me reviews before I go to sleep at night. And today he's going to bless us with reading a review before we do the podcast. Dax, what's a review?
All right. This one comes from Alyssa Kent 12. It says, it's easy to watch. 5 stars. I love Dax and Adam. I always listen to them when working out, cleaning, changing my license plate, or doing the lawn, except for laugh out loud. I love the raw rundowns. You guys have good discourse without trailing too much into interpersonal opinions. Plus, I learned so much from you guys about how the inner workings of Hollywood are. I rarely get on Facebook, but I might start for Off the Record. Yes, Alyssa, come join us on Facebook. And thank you for this amazing review.
Alyssa, thank you so much. And again, not to toot our own horns, Dax and I are 2 working, active entertainment news journalists. And, we're not 2 talking heads and nothing about the TikTok journalists out there that are just a head over a stolen photo or image. Dax and I are working on stories, on breaking stories. And a lot of times it's weird for me, I'll be honest with you. I break a lot of stories, but I don't necessarily put my name on them because I'm sort of like a spy and a little bit of a ninja that I can't have my name attached to the story. But sometimes it happens. Like last week, that Sofia Vergara story, that was our story. I mean, we broke it on our private Facebook group Off the Record. When the story came out, I just couldn't have my name attached to the story just for ninja reasons. I come in, I karate chop, and I leave. But this is the top 10 stories of the week. And actually, our number 10 story is a story that we sort of broke or we did on our podcast. What's our number 10 story, Dex?
All right, number 10 story. Don Lemon predicting Matt Lauer coming back to television in some format, whether it's digital or whatever. But yeah, we actually had Don Lemon on this week. And after our interview with him, it started getting a lot of fire, a lot of attention, showing up on multiple news sites. Us talking to him about Matt Lauer and their friendship together, what it's like when Don and Matt go out in public together. And Don was very clear. He said, look, I don't know a lot about the history of everything that went down, but he said, I can tell you one thing. When I go out to lunch or dinner with Matt, he gets a lot of attention, and a lot of people are running up to him saying how much they miss him on television, how much they love him, and that is men, women, everyone. And he also said that if he did come back, he thinks that the ratings for Matt Lauer back on some platform would be huge. So him kind of publicly putting his message behind his friend got a lot of attention after the interview this week.
Yeah, we got a lot of press over this. It was cool. Don came on the podcast. We asked Don within very last second, hey, can you come on the podcast? And he was gracious and came on. Whatever you think about political views, he's a well-spoken guy, and I like different perspectives. He's also a guy who's been in the industry for a long time. Granted, he covers real news. We cover entertainment news. So, yeah, nice guy, came on the podcast, and he does have a close relation with Matt Lauer. And where do you stand on this personally, Dax? Are you one of these people that is allowed Matt Lauer back? And before I even get into your wanting to hear your answer, Don's thing was, it's not that the public doesn't want us. The public, he thinks, wants Matt back. It's just the business, the corporations, they just don't want to invest in that because of the backlash or regarding the situation.
Yeah, he very much said it's not the public. The public would embrace him, which, I mean, I'd be interested to see the data on that, because there's a lot of people that don't want to. You remember he was fired from the Today Show over one of the former NBC employees rape allegations. So that's really why he was initially set go. He has claimed innocence on that for a long time. But I don't know, dude. I guess I don't really have much an opinion, just because I think here in LA, Matt Lauer was famous, but I think he's a much bigger deal in New York than he is in LA, if that makes sense.
You're more of a Lawrence Sanchez guy. I'm more of a Matt Lauer guy. That's
I'm a Jillian Barbary kind of guy. I love her.
Yeah, Jillian Barbary was huge in LA. In New York, no one really was too familiar with Jillian Barbary, except for I know her from the Howard Stern show. Matt was the guy in New York. I mean, I was a big fan of him professionally. I was a big fan of him personally. As far as the allegations go, I mean, I heard the allegations. I heard his side. What is the truth? We don't know, but obviously the story's out there. I can only say as a person, he's been always very kind to me, very respectful to me, and he's been very cool to me. And I would love to see him back. And I wonder if he would come back rusty, if you lose that kind of skill, or if it's just something that's built in him. But I will say he's very
built in. I remember I did TMZ Live the other day, and I fucking picked that shit back up. I was like, all right, I got this. We did this a long time ago, and it felt like getting on a bike and riding it again. I think once you do it over and over again, it's back there deep in your mental psyche.
But you had nothing to lose. That's the thing, is he's got everything to lose, because I think people are very curious how he was. And I don't know. You see other people coming up, and I just think Matt was so good at it. I enjoyed it. I hope he does come in some sort of way. Will he get the same interviews as he once did? I don't know. But I do know that some people will kind of talk about him privately, and they're still friends with him. Big names are still close with him privately. Publicly, they can't really address it. But props to Don for kind of speaking boldly about his relationship and friendship with Matt. So, all right, number 9.
By the way, I'll be back on TMZ Live next week, so watch for me.
Ratings will go up that day. Let's all watch and see. Let's do like a Spencer Pratt type thing and make the ratings go up that day for that episode. Like, oh my God, how funny would that be if we got like our whole audience to go right in about that TMZ Live saying we need Dax back.
This is the best hosting ever.
That would be so good. Like, dude, we should. I mean, that'd be great if we started a campaign. But I wouldn't want them to know. But everyone starts writing in like, "Oh my God, we need Dax as the new host of TMZ Live." That'd be funny. Number 9.
Number 9. Obviously, the Oscar nominations came out this week. This was a big deal. Everyone was waiting on these. There was a lot of influx in whether or not the Oscars were going to actually happen this year because of all the fires that happened in LA, whether or not they felt like it was going to be disrespectful to do an award show right after so many people lost their homes and are displaced. Well, the award show is going on and the nominations were released. We can go through a couple of them pretty quickly. Best Picture, Nora got a nomination. The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune, Amelia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, Wicked, also all in there. In regards to some of the top categories, lead actor, Adrian Brody got one, Coleman Domingo, Ralph Fiennes, Sebastian Stan, Timothy Chalamet, which I was pretty impressed that they were able to get A Complete Unknown in there so quickly. Are you ever surprised about that? Like, the movie just came out and it's already getting a nomination.
Sometime that was like I think they were trying to push that movie out as quick as possible to get nominated. It came out roughly around Christmas. So it's been out for a little bit. They've been promoting the movie a decent amount before. So I think that has a fair chance of making it. I think that has a fair shot of getting in there. I don't think you saw any of the movies. I think the only movie you saw was obviously Dune. I did not see Wicked. I've heard mixed reviews. Again, you have to be a real big I've heard it's beautiful, but I heard you have to be a fan of that storyline or that kind of genre. I will say I did see I did The Brutalist. I heard is good, but it's a long movie. When I saw the trailer, the trailer is not appealing to me. I'm not familiar with any other movies. They're more like red carpet movies where you see these people go up and go on the red carpet, but I don't know if I'd ever see these movies. I did see A Complete Unknown. I loved it. Was it the best movie I've ever seen? No, but I did enjoy the film and had a great experience. And I think Timothy Chalamet versus Adrian Brody is going to be who's going to win the Oscar this year. I don't know. I think Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, I think Sebastian Stan was a big shocker for a lot of people in there because, he was playing Donald Trump in The Apprentice. That one got a lot of backlash and a lot of people pissed off about it, but no one really saw that coming because he did not get a nomination for Golden Globes and some other things. So for him to sneak in here was a big deal. In regards
I will say this. I think Timothée Chalamet, he's like, we're recording this weekend, is hosting Saturday Night Live. He is the host and he's also the musical guest. Depending on how he performs musically, I think he'll get the Oscar, depending on how he does perform. It will come down to the musical performance. If he does well, he's going to win the Oscar just after this weekend. I think it's going to become huge. Other people, great actors, have gone into.
You're saying it. You're giving it to Chalamet if he does a good job on Saturday Night Live.
If he does a good job on SNL as the musical performer, and he does like the Bob Dylan music, I think he will get the Oscar. Now, in the past we've seen Bradley Cooper perform, and Bradley Cooper was a fine singer for that, but that movie wasn't a great movie.
Are you doing this just to piss me off because I hate talking about award shows that we're going an extra long time talking about?
Yeah, you hate award shows so much. I mean, the Grammys are coming up, which we're gonna have to cover, but should we do a? Nah,
Can I just get through the rest of the people that were nominated?
All right, go for it. I know.
Cynthia Erivo got a nomination for lead actress for Wicked. Demi Moore got in there. Fernanda Torres, Carla Sofia Gascon, Mikey Madison also in there. And then, do you want to do supporting actors as well? All right. Jump into these supporting actors: Edward Norton, Guy Pearce, Jeremy Strong, Kieran Culkin, and Yura Borsov also jumped in. And then for supporting actress, we got Monica Barbaro. Ariana Grande got one for Wicked as well. Felicity Jones, Isabella Rossellini, and Zoe Saldana. So those are your big categories. I can tell you some of the snubs. A big one was Pam Anderson, our girl Pam, who we gave the comeback award to this year at the Hollywood Rise. She was snubbed, and a lot of people very shocked about this. She got the Golden Globe nomination. She got the SAG nomination. So it was almost like a shoe-in for her to get this Oscar nom, and I think that was probably pretty heartbreaking for her. She had this big resurgence, really showed off her acting skills, was getting lots of accolades. So I think that one is a pretty big one. Same with Denzel Washington. He also got snubbed. He's one of the greatest actors of our times. He was in Gladiator 2, and they did not give him the nomination. Nicole Kidman also missed a nomination for Baby Girl. Daniel Craig missed out on a nomination. So there was quite a few people. And John Chu, the director of Wicked. Wicked was all over the nominations. He did not get one, which was pretty shocking for a lot of people. So
yeah, I'm surprised John Chu didn't, because I think he was obviously a visionary. That's to me is the biggest sort of like, what? How'd this guy not get nominated? Yeah, that's the Oscars. Dax hates them. I like them. So
I don't hate him. I just feel like talking about him for 20 minutes, I'm like, I can't do it.
So I have a friend who's a high-end ticket broker, and he reached out to me years ago, and I actually went to one of our mutual friends where he says, "Hey, listen, man, if you could get me 2 tickets to the Oscars," he deals with like very affluent clients, and he says, "Listen, if you could give me 2 tickets to the Oscars, they could sit anywhere in the room. I'll give you 30 grand." And I'm like, "Oh my God, that's like life-changing money for me. Like if you gave me 30 grand, like that's, is it life-changing? Yeah, it is life-changing, because I put it in some sort of account that turns that in a year could turn 50. I don't know. But I was like going through all those calls trying to get people, like sneak 2 people. So they, these rich people just wanted to put the tux on and take the photo on the red carpet. Like it's just good for business. So it's like, why would someone pay that much money to go to the Oscars? Because it's good for business. And I don't know. I love the Oscars. I think it's the.
Wait, did you get them tickets or not?
I was very close, but I did not. If I did, Dax,
you loser! Yeah, you're a broke loser.
I know. If I got him, I wouldn't be dressed like this. I wouldn't be dressed like a unemployed gym teacher. Dax, number 8.
Martin Scorsese and let me try that again. Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio in talks to revive The Devil in the White City. This is a big deal. This is going to be, what is it, their 7th movie together? These two have teamed up for so many projects over the years. This one is getting a lot of attention because they've had it in the back pocket. said for years now, Leo and his film studio had bought the rights back, I think it was like around 2010 or something, and then they sat on it. They've tried to get it going. No one's picked it up. None of the big studios had, which is wild to me that if you have Martin Scorsese and Leo coming to you and saying, we want to make this movie, and studios are saying no for the last, 24 or the last 14 years, I think that is crazy. I would feel like that would be easy for any studio to go, yep, here's the money, go make it.
Yes, but Dax, here's the thing, is the issue, and again, this, I don't know the answer to this, and you might not know either, is the issue where, hey, the movie's going to cost so much money to make, and then we have to give back ends, and such a big back end to Martin and Leo, that financially it's not a good investment for us.
I mean, maybe, but I mean, I'm kind of one of those people that no matter what Leo does, I watch because he's such a good actor.
That's true.
He is literally my favorite actor. I love him in movies.
Yeah,
He's
anytime you hear a movie with Leo in it, you just watch it just because Leo's in it, and you think that he would pick a good role. That used to be me with Tom Hanks, but I feel like I haven't really watched a lot of Tom Hanks movies in the last few years. I don't know. Maybe it's just the times have changed.
Are you not in love with Tom Hanks anymore?
No, I still am. He's still like one of my favorite actors. But again, I think it just hit the movies he does now. It's just a little bit different. It's not my taste of films. I don't need to watch The Polar Express. It's just not my. It's not
like think about the movies that these two men have done together. When you've got The Gangs of New York, you've got The Aviator, The Departed, Shutter Island, The Wolf of Wall Street, Killers of the Flower Moon. Like, these two guys make some good movies together, man.
I mean, they did awesome movies. They did Three Ninjas. They did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. They did Surf Ninjas. I'm just picking random movies from the 90s. I love them. People are like, what? Leo and Martin Scorsese did Three Ninjas? That's crazy. All right, Dax, number 7.
Khloé Kardashian giving an update on where she stands with Tristan Thompson and whether or not they will actually ever get back together dating wise. She's got her new podcast, Khloé in Wonderland, and she had Jay Shetty on as her guest, and she started talking about her relationship with Tristan and she basically said, look, we co-parent really well together. However, when it comes to the romantic chapter, that is closed. She has no plans to put herself back out in the dating world as of right now. She sounds very happy to be focused on her children and being single. She didn't make it like she's not closing the door. She was open. She said, look, if a relationship lands in my lap, in 2 months and a year and whatever that time is, I think she is open to a relationship, but she is not actively seeking a relationship. She is like, I just want to be present for my kids right now, and I want to enjoy this time. I don't need any other distractions in my life. So, sorry, Tristan, she done with you.
Yeah, I love Khloé. I mean, Khloé is one of those people that we don't really, I don't want to say she's the forgotten Kardashian by any means, but we don't talk about her enough because I do think she's a great person.
I think she's my favorite Kardashian.
Yeah, she's just one of those people where she's just she's just cool. And you forget how she's been through so much and she's still so young. And I'm like, man, like she's our age. I'm like, man, if I went through the stuff you did, I don't know how I'd make it out. But she's just like a very strong person. And I also think very intelligent person as well. So you guys are like, yeah, we're a pro Kardashian podcast. I think those people change the game, not just for Hollywood is all trying to catch up to the Kardashians. I think those people, and it's crazy how quiet they've been in the last couple of years. Don't you think like how big and how much we should cover the Kardashians in the last, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years? How like
do you think that has to do with the move from E to Hulu though? Because like when they were on E, I felt like they were covered every day, and I think E was just churning out stories constantly, which was really good for the show and the network.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, did the Kardashians ruin E?
No,
I
think they were keeping E super active and people watching it.
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing is nobody watches E anymore. I mean, let's be real.
Well, that's not them ruining it. That would be E messing up by letting them go.
Yeah, I mean, correct. Let me change the way I said it. The Kardashian E fucked up by allowing the Kardashians to go. They should just give them everything they wanted. They should have made them the program directors and said, "You guys run the entire network." And then Alex Earl would have had her own show. Everyone would have had their own show. The Kardashians should have been the program directors of E. E dropped the ball by allowing the Kardashians to go. Crazy. That's just how that is pretty good. I think it's accurate too. Number, what are we on? 7?
We are on 7, yes.
7, please.
No, 6.
6.
We're on 6. Hailey Bieber responding to all these rumors and fears that are going around about her and Justin possibly having a massive breakup, all because he unfollowed her on Instagram. Good God, relax, people. Justin had even said that someone had hacked into his account and started all unfollowing people. And I'm thinking, is that true? Is that true that you got hacked and that's the one thing the person decided to do was unfollow people? I don't think that's a thing. Like, if you're gonna hack someone's account like Justin Bieber, wouldn't you be like, "Hey everyone, go follow at Dax Holt," and you put it out to 200 million people? I don't think if I was a hacker, the first thing I'd be like, "I'm gonna unfollow people." Like, that just doesn't sound pliable or possible. But whatever, we're gonna go with it. Anyway, so people noticed that he unfollowed her. She then posted a bunch of photos on her Instagram. It was like a big carousel of them out on vacation. I believe they were in Aspen, and there's photos of Justin in the carousel, and it looks like they went out to dinner, and they're having a good time. Rory, one of Justin's good friends that also takes photos of them kind of everywhere they're going, documented a lot of stuff from Aspen, showing the two of them sitting next to each other and hanging out. And so I think all is fine in the Bieber's world. And, he also unfollowed his father-in-law, Stephen Baldwin, which also got a lot of attention. But I mean, guys, who has time to go really look through all this crap?
Yeah,
why did following, unfollowing, friending, unfriending, why did that become such the big social standard of whether or not you're friends with someone in real life?
True. I mean, some people are just not fun to follow on social media. Some people are annoying. I'm sure some people on they're friends with them on social media, but they have to mute their Instagram stories because it's a little bit too much. So
I
I
have
get
friends
it.
that like that in real life, where I like being around them in real life, but their social persona is hell of annoying. Like,
Yeah.
they're just too much or in your face or thirsty. And I'm just like, man, you're not like this. You become a different person online.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I will say, I mean, I think they had to kind of put it straight and post as much on social media as saying, "Hey, let's just get this out of the way real quick before the rumors of us not together start to kind of pile up." I am excited because Bieber did announce that he's planning to release music soon. So, big Justin Bieber fan. Can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah.
Bieber or Timberlake? Battle of the Justins. Who do you sway to musically?
Oh, it's a good question. I think if you would ask me years ago, it was a Timberlake. I think if you ask me now, I'd say Bieber. I think Bieber is one of the biggest talents. He hasn't put out a lot of new music recently, but I really like some of his music. He's got some great songs in his catalog.
I always felt like Timberlake, he would always have like a great first song on an album. Like the first song would be good. Not great, but good. And then you'd hear like the 2 songs you like on the album, and then the rest of them sort of sounded the same. And then Bieber to me was just like, bam, hit.
Like,
And it was
I was
so
gonna
many
say,
good commercial songs. And if you give me a playlist, like I could do a shuffle on Bieber and I could listen to it for a while. Timberlake, I'll fast forward through a few songs because I'm just like, I'm over it. They're almost like
well,
too much.
I would say like my like songs that I have or my playlists, all of them contain Bieber songs. I would say I've probably got one Justin Timberlake song in all of my playlists.
All right. Well, Dax just revealed
And
something.
it's the Trolls one, and it's for my kids.
Yeah, it's like those songs that they're good movies for songs that get old really quick.
Yep.
I don't know. It's just like, oh, this song, like you hear it in a Walmart, like, oh God, keep walking. Number 5.
In a Walmart.
Yeah.
All right. Number 5, Brody Jenner opening up about details about a conversation where Caitlyn Jenner apologized for pretty much everything she put him through. So he sat down, he was on the Vial Files podcast with Nick, and he just said, about a year ago, Caitlyn and him were headed to the golf course, and Caitlyn pulled the car over and said, I really just want to talk to you. And this was kind of out of nowhere. He said, I want to apologize to you sincerely for all the years where I really fucked up. I really fucked up. And Brody said that the way she said it was that she was really stressing the sincerity of an apology, and that he could really feel that she meant it when she said it. And I think that, Brody, during this whole conversation with Nick, was saying that I think he also realized how much Caitlyn struggled throughout the years, because when Brody was younger, Bruce wasn't around very much. He was hanging out with the Kardashians and Kris Jenner, and wasn't there, is what he claims. And he now chalks a lot up to Bruce not being comfortable in his own body and who he was. And so so Brody just says, I also have to have forgiveness in my own heart and realize there was a lot of things that Bruce and now Caitlyn was going through at the time. So it was actually kind of like a nice conversation.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it was a nice conversation to hear. You want to hear like people getting back together. I kind of think it's cool that Caitlyn, who you've heard a lot of stories about, just said, "Hey, I apologize." And like you can say what they did on a golf course, but like to me, it actually sounded very sincere. And props to Caitlyn for apologizing. Props to Brody for accepting the apology based on his story. I think Brody, one of the most good-looking guys in Hollywood, personally. I'll say that. I say that as a straight guy. Yes, Dax, I'm straight.
With an asterisk on it.
Listen, I wish I wasn't, because I'd probably go a lot further in this career if I wasn't. But but I would say Brody also, to me, is like one of the most interesting guys in Hollywood, because he's been around Hollywood his whole entire life. He's had two very famous parents, but he's also been around Hollywood during the heydays when it was people are going out at night. So he's probably seen a lot if he ever got in detail. Like if he ever wrote a book and went like really hard in his book, I think he's got so much dirt in him. It's crazy. But he talks about his relationship also in this interview with the Kardashians, saying that they have a great relationship, but they never lived in the same household together. They are are they step? Are they half?
Step.
Yeah.
So the Jenner girls are half. The other, well, I guess they're not even step with the Kardashians anymore, because Bruce and Kris are no longer together. So, but essentially, I think they would have formally step siblings,
Yeah, but he talks about his relationship with them, and they just reconnected at Caitlyn's birthday. I think he's got
he basically says, look, I if any of them call, I will step out of the room, take their call. I see them, we get along. I'm here for them. There are no hard feelings. He said, just everyone's really busy right now. And that's what it comes down to. So it's not like they are hanging out with each other every day, but they've got a good relationship when they're together.
Yeah. I think it's just nice to hear. And I think it's nice he has a good relationship with them. Talks about, also in this interview, talks about Spencer Pratt. And Spencer, which we always said, it was so smart. He goes, I'm going to be a villain. And he knew, Spencer knew what he had to be to make a good TV show. Again, we always said,
how do you see that ahead of time? Like, I don't feel like it was cool to be a villain back then. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see the longevity of it. Who wants to be portrayed as a bad person on television?
Look what I'm doing on this podcast, though. I mean,
like,
you have to be polarizing. You have to be polarizing. And I'm not.
Yeah, but like Spencer really had to have had that foreshadowing. It's unbelievable. And not only that, remember all their cheesy photo shoots and everything that they did? It really worked. And they were so ahead of their time.
Yeah. Yeah. So props to Brody. Love Brody. I think Brody, I would love to have him on our podcast, but I would ask him a little bit more interesting questions that I don't know if you'd want to get into. Basically, like, hey, what's the stuff that you saw at Hyde, the nightclub back in the day that never got out there? I'd ask some more random stuff. Dax, number 4.
Ali Luber confirms the split from James Kennedy. following his domestic violence arrest. I think we all kind of saw this coming, but Ali went and put on her social media, "Thank you for all the support and kindness. I'm happy that prosecutors decided not to file against James, as I never desired criminal charges. We had an argument outside of his home related to him drinking again. However, I was not physically hurt." She then continued on to say, "We are no longer together, but I will always support James and wish him the best with his sobriety and healing. Thank you for your understanding." Keep in mind, he was arrested. This became a huge story after cops were called because there was a man and woman arguing outside of a home. Cops showed up. They didn't see any signs of physical abuse. But he was still arrested. They looked into all of this and decided not to press charges against him, as it did not seem that there was enough evidence to charge him. But it does seem that he needs to focus on getting himself healthy at this point, and she is behind him getting healthy, it sounds like.
Yeah, people are clicking on the story. To be honest with you, I don't really care for this. I mean, people are interested in James Kennedy. I never met
Adam.
Him.
Is not. Adam feels about James Kennedy like I feel about all the awards show.
Yeah.
Tell me the news and move on.
Yeah, that's the news. I don't dislike him. I just don't really know. I'm not a Vanderpump Rules guy. I've met a bunch of people in the cast. I've never met James, but I do understand people are curious about him. Yeah, he also got the there's no charges, but he did lose his girlfriend, so they broke up. So he's single, she's single. So go on the dating sites and try to match up with them. Dax number 3.
Chris Brown filed a $500 million lawsuit against Warner Brothers over that A History of Violence docuseries. Chris Brown very upset about feeling that he was defamed on this History of Violence investigation discovery that aired last fall. He filed these legal documents. They're reviewed by TMZ. And it says basically that the producers and the companies named in the suit knowingly aired accusations against him that they had proof were incorrect. So he said, this docuseries painted him to look like a like a serial rapist and a sexual abuser, and noted that he had never been convicted of any sexual related crime. He's like, so why are you making me look bad if you know that I've never been convicted of anything like that? He said that the woman accusing him in the docuseries, who, by the way, remained anonymous, had to withdraw a lawsuit she had filed against him due to numerous factual inconsistencies. And he said that this docuseries essentially washed away all the progress that he has made rebuilding his image in the public after 16 years since he assaulted Rihanna back in the day outside that Grammys pre-party. So he was very upset about it. It's funny because I didn't even think about that, but he's got this tainted past. Obviously, he's been trying to rebuild his image ever since the Rihanna incident. I did not see this A History of Violence investigation or this series, but I got to think, if I were him and you have done everything you can to try to prove yourself once again after being young, dumb, and making some terrible mistakes in your life, which he has apologized for. He has, been very open about that being a very bad decision and part of his life, to then be essentially, on TV and everyone just shitting all over you all again sucks.
Over stuff that is not true. I mean, let's be real. Like, there's stuff he's guilty of, which I think he would even admit to. And then there's stuff he's not guilty of. So they're just allegations. I think he's got a legitimate lawsuit here.
I think so too. And he even said, he goes, look, I'm going to actually donate to, let me see if I can find the name. He had basically said there's organizations that he wants to donate money to if he does win in this. Shoot, I should have been more prepared to tell you who it was. You talk for a sec. Let me see if I can find who he said he was going to donate to.
To me, it's interesting why, and I don't know how, if it's the team around them, why did we, I'm not saying we forgive, but I felt like Travis Scott was able to bounce back after what happened at Astroworld very quickly. And then Chris Brown, and again, 2 separate incidents, but 2 crazy, two crazy incidents. Chris Brown wasn't able to bounce back that quick or even at all, whereas Travis Scott was able to. I don't know.
So I was going to say, it said that he's going to donate a portion of his winnings to organizations that support sex abuse victims. So I thought there was the actual name of an organization, but it was just put out there like that. So,
Scott, I listen. I did say my prediction for 2025 is Chris Brown's going to have a massive comeback. Is this the comeback? Did this kind of ruin my prediction or help hurt my prediction?
I don't think it helps because it puts a more of a spotlight on, like, I didn't even know about the docuseries. In all honesty, I didn't know it existed. And so him talking about it now makes me go, okay, well, now I want to see what was so bad that you are filing a $500 million lawsuit on it, you know? So I don't think it helps, but what else can you do? You have to try to clear your name, especially when you're someone like Chris Brown, where you've already got such a tainted reputation that if something like this comes out, all you can do is fight for it, because people are going to not want to hire you. There's people that are not going to want to go to your concerts. So it really does hurt you even worse to not say something.
What are your thoughts? And again, I don't know if you have opinion or thought, but why was Travis Scott able to bounce back so quick after what happened at Astroworld? Which,
well, the difference is, so this might sound, that wasn't his direct, like, he didn't kill people. You know what I'm saying? Yes, the incident was bad. He was on stage. He didn't stop down, but I think in that situation, it was kind of bad place, bad timing, you know, the whole
out of
thing.
His hands, yeah.
It was kind of out of his hands, where this was directly in Chris Brown's hands. He assaulted his girlfriend. You can't, that's not something that you can just jump back out of. And not only that, you abuse someone that is in the public eye, that people saw the face, they saw the bruises, they saw what happened. And so there's a face to the brutalization. That's why he can't, it was not something that people could just bounce back from. You know, you don't take abuse like that lightly.
All I'm trying to do, Dax, is just make sure I win my prediction for 2025 that Chris Brown's going to have a comeback. I just got to make sure it comes back. Dax, the number 2 story.
Amy Schumer doing a lot of talking these days, talking about that she hooked up with a pro baseball player during her peak of fame. She sat down on the Call Her Daddy podcast, which, you know, obviously they dive deep into sex and all kinds of interesting, fun stuff. And she said, you know, Alex had asked her, what is the craziest fan interaction you've ever had? And she goes, you know what? I've never talked about this, but I think this is the time. And she said, when I was sort of at my peak touring arenas, whatever, was there a professional athlete? Sure. Did I text him late at night? And did he come over? And did he go down on me? And then I say, I'm tired and I'm sorry. And he left? Yes. So she joked about the fact that she kind of, you know, she said, look, there's men that can hit it and leave. And she goes, this was my moment that she was able to call up someone, say, come over. He went down. And then she was like, I'm too tired to do anything more. She goes, yeah, I was kind of a dick. But at the same time, she goes, it is what it is. And then you remember she turned that scene or that moment into a scene in Trainwreck, where she goes, listen, that wasn't just like a funny written in scene in Trainwreck. That was real life. And she goes, you know, to that baseball player, you know who you are.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. It's funny for that other person, and props. I wouldn't say props to her, but I did think it's funny. She didn't name the person, but pretty much said everything about it. And that person is probably hearing the story and just laughing about it, just saying, like, you know what? It's funny you spoke about it. It's funny to hear your perspective inside. But I also appreciate not outing me, because that would have kind of changed.
And the thing is, she said, like, this professional baseball player.
What a blind item, though, huh? Look at Amy Schumer put out the blind items.
I'm sure someone saw a professional baseball player go to one of her shows, and over the next couple of days, we're going to find out who attended a show of hers.
Good luck trying to figure that riddle out. I don't know.
There's another part that she did talk about. Do you remember when her face got very full? She said that it was actually like a medical issue, that she got this thing called moon face that led to a crushing syndrome diagnosis. So she talked about this. She said it was all the internet trolling that kept telling her how big her face got, and her face was crazy and people were making fun of her. And she kept just like brushing it off, being like, shut up, people. Like, you know, you guys are just being dicks. And then she started seeing physicians commenting as well, like, no, Amy, there's something messed up with your face. You need to go get this checked out. And so she looked up this moon face, and I guess it can be a side effect of taking like steroids, and those steroids can then lead to you getting this really full face. And she remembered, oh shit, yeah, I am taking steroids, I guess injections to get rid of scars from her like C-section and I think some other like breast augmentation or something. I can't remember what the other thing she said was. And she goes, and I realized, oh damn, like there's something more to this. And so she was able to get rid of the moon face, and it was right before she started filming her next movie, which is coming out. And she was like, damn, I didn't realize how bad it gotten, because it's when you look at your face every day, you don't notice a change until someone maybe points it out. So the trolling actually paid off in this case.
Yeah. All right. Well, she did a big look at Alex Cooper getting these big interviews now.
She really is, dude.
I'm surprised. Like, I'm not surprised, but like Amy, who's been on Stern before, wouldn't do the interview for Howard. But I guess it's maybe, hey, let's do girl on girl.
Well, you know
stuff.
what? It's interesting how Alex Cooper has really become that like
platform,
or the like female Howard Stern. You know what I'm saying? Like Howard Stern had such a big show for so long that he would dive into these crazy questions that you're always like, wow, how can people answer about their sex life like this on such a public forum? But Howard was able to bring them out. And now I feel like Alex is doing that. She's like the next generation of, what he was able to really get started.
Well, it's every single episode she has makes news that week. That's the weird part about it. Like she drops up, Howard Stern does a show 4 days a week. Alex Cooper's doing an episode once a week, but pretty much every single episode she does always makes news or some sort of takeaway that makes some buzz. So I think people just realize like, hey, let's go and make some news. Unique, interesting, but good guest, great guest for Alex Cooper. Dax, the number one story of the week.
Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, the story never seems to end. There is now a newly released video that shows footage of them filming on set. If you have not checked it out, it has kind of gone all over the place this week. And it's literally a behind the scenes footage of the two of them. They're in this scene where they don't have dialogue for the scene. It's almost like, I don't know if they're filming like a montage or something where it's supposed to look like they're falling in love with each other. And Justin Baldoni's team put this out there to prove their side of the story that, look, nothing was inappropriate, all was good, and that he didn't do anything wrong. Blake's team, on the other hand, she said, wow, really glad you put this footage out. It proves Blake's point that he went above and beyond what the character should have, that he was caressing her neck, he was going to kiss her ear, that he was saying things to her that were completely unscripted, and that they were only supposed to be filming a scene where they are kind of like dancing and looking into each other's eyes, and he took it up and above and started to kiss her when that was not scripted, saying things to her that were unscripted. And so both sides feel that this video footage somehow supports their cause. Adam, you watched the video, I watched the video. What is your takeaway from it?
Super cringe. It was kind of uncomfortable to kind of see like that conversation weird.
But wait, are you saying cringe because you feel that it helps Blake, or cringe it doesn't help Blake?
I don't know if it helps Blake. I don't but also to be taken out of context too. So I'm on the fence because it's very hard because the allegations started with Blake saying this is how I was treated, but somehow they're spinning the story into something else, the Baldoni side. So I'm very torn on the whole case in general. Now I know our social media, people are going crazy on it. It's almost like picking a side, who's right, who's wrong, pro Justin, pro Blake. I think the story started on this is what Blake has to stay regarding the relationship and how I felt on set. Justin sort of has, I don't want to say turned it, but kind of said, well, this is my experience with Blake on set. So we're battling with two different people's experiences. Video alone, though, it was very just difficult to watch. I don't know if it helps Blake's case, but you also felt uncomfortable watching too, though.
Okay. Here's my opinion on this Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni video. I don't think it helps either side. I think that this is completely taken out of context. You've got a video from the set where you don't you don't know what is happening. You don't know what was before it. You don't know what was after it. Film sets can be super strange atmospheres anyway, where you've got a lot of people sitting around watching. I think that number one, people are acting at the same time. And did he take his acting too far? Maybe. Like the kiss, if it's not scripted, did he take it too far? Maybe. That happens a lot. I guess maybe not so much with kissing, but I think people ad lib a lot and they get into the moment and they try to make it better. I mean, a lot of Will Ferrell movies are based on him going completely off script and that becoming the main focus of the movie. So I think a lot of actors sometimes will push those bounds, but maybe they're not doing it like sexually, where that makes this situation a little different. Did I feel that he was overly sexual to her? Not really. Do I feel that she put up signs of like, don't do this? Not really. So I don't think that this video leaked was super helpful for either argument, either side. That being said, I know Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have now told Justin Baldoni's lawyer to shut up. They want a judge to gag the lawyer, claiming that he's making all these false statements about the case. And so they filed this letter to the court on Tuesday to basically issue a protective order to stop his lawyer, Brian Friedman, from engaging in improper conduct, including going on an alleged harassing and retaliatory media campaign against Blake and Ryan. He showed up on a couple different big sites, doing interviews, making statements to the press that are irrelevant to the case and might make a prejudice to the jury. His fight back was, well, you guys are putting out a lot of stuff too. Why do I need to keep quiet if you guys are putting out information? So I am amazed at how nasty this has become. And, he's got this Justin Baldoni has filed this $400 million lawsuit against Lively, accusing her of defamation, civil extortion, and other allegations, which is funny because that's literally what she had claimed against him at the beginning. So it's every day new details are coming out. But do you think this has helped out? Do you think this Justin and Blake story has really helped with the views on the movie? I got to imagine it has. All of these articles about this movie have to have helped.
Yeah, I think it has to help with the movie. I think Justin's lawyer is like, this guy, he will do what he has to do to kind of put out. This guy comes out armed, like just swinging. I mean, he's got nothing to lose. This guy is making a commercial for himself. And Justin even said
Justin has way more to lose in this whole situation than Blake does. Wouldn't you agree? Like, he's not the big actor. He's not the one with millions and millions of dollars. So for him, he's claiming he's losing tens of millions of dollars. I think he actually said hundreds of millions of dollars, lots of gigs, where Blake has the platform. She's got the fame. She's got the famous husband. So he feels that he's got a lot more to lose. That's why I think he's fighting so hard to try to clear his name in this whole situation.
Yeah. But I don't think this also helps out Blake's situation. If you're a director, do you want to work with Blake? I mean, we always say this is almost like humanizing them, where it makes them more of a it makes them more as a I see him more as a person now rather as an actress. And what we would say, you don't want
Blake's already been in so many things. Do you think that people would stop hiring her at this point? I feel that she's already been in so many movies. She's married to a superstar. I don't think that this will hurt her career where it does hurt Justin Baldoni's career.
Listen, if Armie Hammer just got offered a role, I think Blake can also find another role. But will she get the roles that she really wants and aspires for? I don't know. Do we see that she could be next year? We'll be saying her name for an Academy Award. I don't know if people want to give her those type of roles because it's just right now it's too polarizing, this whole situation. And because all this stuff happened on a film set. So do you want to put that kind of stress on a film set when you are investing in a project? I don't really know. The one thing I do know, there's a lot of accusations about, Baldoni's lawyer, Justin saying, hey, yeah, my lawyer is good, but I also once was in a case against my lawyer, but now my lawyer is representing me. Blake's team, there's a lot of stuff that's not true out there. Like Blake's team, they said that her rep also repped Harvey Weinstein, and that's not true. They knew each other because they're in the same industry, but but Blake's rep never repped Harvey Weinstein. They might have done some work before on other projects, but they never had a working. I think Harvey even tried to buy that person out, but they never had that sort of relationship. It was just business and professional, but they never represented each other. That part is true, and I know a lot of people are
how many like just stories are coming out. Like when does anyone ever really cover a publicist in the first place? Like that's how weird this guy. The stories have now become about the ancillary characters in here. So now it's like not just Justin, it's his lawyer, it's Blake and her publicist. Like it's just spiraled so much bigger because people are just dying to get any story about them because it's clicking like crazy for all these websites.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is our raw rundown, the top 10 stories of the week. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Check out our private Facebook group called Off the Record. Fun community. Ask us questions because we're going to do an Ask Us Anything episode soon. Follow me at Adam Glyn. Follow Dax Holt at Dax Holt. We'll see you next week. Ciao for now.
Bye. Everyone hated my creepy bye last week.
MSR.
Bye.
Oh, God. He's such a creep. All right. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
What's up, guys? If you like that video, there's plenty more where that came from.
Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell so we can just feed you all the goodness daily.
Hurry up. Come on. Let's go.